busy. I know how that can be, Ken replied. We have, had 2 daughters. Our oldest... He couldn't finish the sentence. Why don't you tell me about her, I said, trying to ease the moment. Brooke was 29 when she... at the time of her accident, Ken said. We were so proud of her. She was a nurse over at West Atlanta Pediatrics. Very independent, but, still a daddy's girl. Made all her own decisions, but she'd call me for advice sometimes on dad things, like repairs to her apartment or her car. He paused. My girls do the same thing, I said. You want them to be independent, but it feels good when they call and need you. I'm very sorry for the loss of your daughter. If you can, will you tell me what happened the night of Brooke's crash? Ken gathered himself. Nearly a year had passed, but his and Beth's grief still felt raw. Ken seemed more agitated, like talking helped him work through what he was feeling. Beth settled back into her chair, quiet, like she could hardly bear to revisit her daughter's death, even though she knew she had to. Ken handed me a document. This is a copy of the police report, he said. I looked it over as he continued. It was her birthday, March 10th, last year. She had a date with her boyfriend after she got off work. It had rained pretty much all day, but it had slowed down a lot by the time she got off work that night. So Brooke was driving her Cobalt down Highway 92, a 2-lane road, when she lost control of her car as she came down a hill. Her car began sliding and crossed over into the other lane, where the oncoming car struck her on the passenger side. Her car then went off the road and down into a creek by the side of the road. By the time the hospital called us, Brooke was... She was already gone. I'm so sorry, I said. Those words never seemed to be enough, even though I've worked with many grieving parents. Going back to the first case I ever took to trial, I had no idea what the Meltons were experiencing. Even so, sitting with them, listening to their story, I could not help but put myself in their shoes and wonder what I would do if the hospital called to tell me my oldest child had been lost in an accident. I do not know how parents move forward with life after that. I am always amazed that they do. I scanned the police report. Under cause of accident were the words, driver error, driving too fast for conditions. I didn't believe the report's conclusion then, and I still don't now, Ken continued. It says the wreck was Brooke's fault. I don't buy that. Brooke was a very cautious driver. She never had an accident before, never even gotten a ticket. It's not like her to take unnecessary chances. I know it rained that day, but witnesses said it was only a drizzle at the time of the accident. And it's not like she had never driven in the rain before. Ken's emotion stopped his words. I glanced over at Beth. She tried hard to keep her emotions in check, but was losing that fight. And you are here because your insurance company now wants to inspect the Cobalt? I asked. Yes, Ken said. Officially, the wreck was Brooke's fault. But within a few weeks after her death, we received a recall notice from GM. Ken handed me the recall notice. It was for the electronic power steering on Brooke's Cobalt. If the power steering went out, wouldn't that be enough to make someone lose control of their car? Ken asked. I read the notice before I answered his question. A couple of sentences jumped out at me. At the bottom of the first paragraph I read, if power steering assist is lost, it may require greater driver effort at low vehicle speeds, for example, below 15 miles per hour, or 25 kilometers per hour. Unless the driver compensates for this additional effort, it may increase the risk of a crash. This mixed message caught my eye. The problem was supposed to manifest itself only at low speeds, and yet it also said it could contribute to a crash. Low speeds and accidents do not go together. I'd read enough of these notices to know there may well be more to this than met the eye. I'm not a mechanic, but I agree it may be a question worth looking into, I said. To your knowledge, had she ever had any problems with her power steering before? No, but the recall makes it sound like this is something that just happens out of the blue, Ken said. He added, shortly after we received the recall notice, we called the adjuster.